Today we're talking about another Italian version of Sleeping Beauty that does not involve SA. Yay! It's from Sicily and it's called Maruzzedda. Usually Sleeping Beauty's the daughter of royalty or nobility, but in this one she's the daughter of a poor shoemaker and she also has two older sisters. She's the youngest and as usual the prettiest, bitter oldest daughter here. One day her father takes her older sister out with him looking for work. He ends up earning 20 coins and he says, hey, I'm hungry, let's spend 10 on us eating right now and then give the other 10 to your sisters. The next day he takes the second daughter out, he makes 30 coins and he makes the same deal. The third day he takes our girl Maruzzedda and he proposes the same thing. And she says, actually no, let's just take it all home and all of us eat together. So they do that, but the two older sisters who already don't like her because they're jealous because she's the most beautiful, go to their dad and they're like, oh my god, can you believe she didn't obey you? What a horrible daughter. You shouldn't allow a daughter to boss you around like that. You need to take her out to the woods and abandon her. It says the father was blinded and deceived by his daughter, so he leaves her in the woods saying he'll come back, but he doesn't. And once she figures out what's up, she's like, okay, well if he doesn't want me, I'll go find my way in the world. So she wanders on for a long time until she finds this amazing castle in the forest. No one is there except this one dead maiden who's lying on a bier like a coffin. Our girl thinks, well, since no one's here, I'll stay here till someone tells me to leave. But no one ever comes and tells her to leave, and food keeps appearing, so she eats, she sleeps, she stays in the beautiful castle, ignores the corpse, and her life is good. One day her father happens by the castle, sees her in the window, and he's like, oh my god, because he like felt bad about abandoning her. And she's like, oh hi father, and he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm a maid here. Like, totally lies. And he says, can I come inside? And she's like, no, my masters are really strict. No one can come inside. This is where it gets actually a little Snow White-ish as well. He goes home and tells the sisters what has happened, and they're super jealous of her for living in this castle. So they convince him to bake a cake of poison and take it to her to kill her. However, that night while our girl is sleeping, the dead maiden from the castle appears in her dream and says, hey, your father's gonna bring you a cake tomorrow. Don't eat it. It's poisoned. The dad delivers the cake, drops it off. She says thank you. She gives a piece to the cat. Cat dies, and she's like, yep, not eating that, and threw it away. Later, when the shoemaker finds out that she's still alive, he tells the sisters, so they want him to take her this enchanted hat that anyone who puts it on, they're going to be stiff and motionless, basically in a coma. Again, the dead maiden appears to our girl in a dream and says, don't put on any hat your father brings you, and so she doesn't, and she's fine. However, she doesn't tear it up, but puts it into a box, which the narrator says she shouldn't have done. The sisters and dad assume this worked and that she's dead now. They don't try to kill her again, and it said because of this, that dead maiden is now able to enter heavenly glory because she's been like in limbo as a ghost apparently. So she appears to our girl one more time in a dream and says, I'm going to heaven, I leave everything in this castle to you, live happily and enjoy your riches, and then even her body disappears. So time passes until one day our girl is looking through boxes, finds the hat, forgets about the whole thing, and is like, oh, this is cute, puts it on and falls down dead. The maiden who's in heaven now, God lets her come down to put the girl onto the bier that she was on, but that's all she can do and she has to go back up to heaven. A few years later, a king and his hunting party follow a bird into the castle and they find our girl. They assume she's dead, but then the king touches her cheek and he's like, no, she's warm. She must be alive. They try a bunch of different ways to wake her up and finally they take off the hat to like cool her forehead and oh, she wakes up. The king says, you shall be my wife. She's apparently down with that. But he has this mother who is an evil sorceress and so he's scared of what she'll do to his new girl, so he doesn't take her to his castle. He keeps her in secret. Over 3 years, she gives birth to 3 sons and their names are the Italian words for I love you, I loved you, and I will love you. Here's how they appear in the story, but you don't want me to pronounce them. One day when the king's away, his evil mother finds out about our girl. She sends word to her saying, hey, send your first son to me and I'll receive you favorably. And so she sends the first son. In this way, she gets her to send all 3 of her sons, and then she says to the cook, hey, I want you to kill these kids and I want to eat them. But he doesn't kill them. He hides them in the house with his wife and serves her goat liver and heart instead. Finally, the evil mom summons our girl there, and when she shows up, there's this big bonfire, and the evil queen is like, throw the slut into the fire. And yes, she uses that word. I've talked about in other videos how sometimes fairy tales use these words because back in the day, it didn't just mean an impure woman. It could mean a lazy woman, a worthless woman. It's not a thing you want to be called either way. But our girl is like, can I take off my beautiful clothes first? And the queen's like, sure. So as she takes off each layer of clothing, she yells for her children. The king had come home at this point, but he was sick and lying in bed, and he hears her yelling, even though the queen tells the musicians to play loud music. And he hears her, he runs down, he sees that that they're about to throw her into the fire, and he's mad. He has the mother thrown into the pit of fire instead. He embraces our girl, says, now you'll truly be my queen. And she's like, what I really want is our kids. And the cook steps forward and he's like, well, the queen wanted me to cook them, but I didn't. I'll take you to them. And they live joyfully and happily and graciously rewarded the faithful cook. There's one more Sicilian one that's really similar called the Beautiful Anna that I just have to mention. Again, our girl Anna is the most beautiful sister, and her two sisters abandon her in the woods to get rid of her. She gets taken in by two ogres who think she's so awesome and sweet that they don't want to eat her, and they take care of her and love her. The sisters find out, they're jealous again, and they try to poison her with a grape that they shove into her throat, and it gets lodged there, and that's what makes her fall down dead. Again, a passing king finds her. He manages to accidentally get the grape out of her throat. She wakes up. He again keeps her secret because he has an evil mother. She gives birth to two children named Sun and Moon, kind of like Talia does in Sun, Moon, and Talia. Everything then goes down basically the same as the previous story, except it's a vat of boiling oil instead of a fire. As always, check out my book Dust Spells, a reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and check out my podcast, Folk Tales and Fairy Lore. Link is in the bio.